Welcome back to Faith at Home. These videos introduce church leaders to the themes that we're encouraging parents, carers and children and young people to explore at home.
This week our theme is kindness.
Which might very well be a real challenge for Faith at Home.
Why? Well, a published study on religious values in 2014 found that whilst 36% of Anglican parents thought it was especially important that children be encouraged to explore faith at home,
94% said it was especially important for children to learn good manners.
We know there are lots of reasons for this.
And we're not saying that good manners are not important.
Christian parents tell us that they do feel it is part of their responsibility to share faith at home. It's just something that many find hard to do whilst also trying to balance everything else. They just often feel overwhelmed.
That's why we're running this Faith at Home series, to find the practical ideas that will make it easier to have conversations about faith at home.
So this week, as we are looking at kindness, we want to reflect on how we might approach this aspect of behaviour through the lens of faith.
Kindness, after all, is a fruit of the Spirit and not just good manners.
Kindness to me is sharing and playing with people no matter who they are.
Kindness to me was when everyone helped me to settle into my new school.
Kindness to me is when we cheer each other up when we're down.
Kindness to me is when I know I can rely on my friends to be there for me at all times.
We want to get people talking about the values they want to hold as a household and to see these as being a core part of what it means to have faith. To get people thinking about resilience, about patience or kindness and what it means for them.
But also get people talking about the Bible stories that demonstrate what it means to live out these behaviours and values.
Knowing that at the heart of our faith, it is encountering God that helps to form us, to see the fruit of the Spirit grow within us.
As our friends in the Diocese of Bath Wells describe this, it's about having an everyday faith everywhere. And we've been hearing about their approach to encourage families to have more meaningful conversations about faith.
Earlier this year, we launched this new resource called 40 Everyday Questions. 40 simple questions in a pack of cards about life, faith and the world. Shuffle the pack and ask away. My wife and I have 4 children aged 9 to 19. All are at home right now. With the 40 questions, some days we all agreed on what seemed like the obvious answer pretty quickly. And on others it provoked some heated debate with a range of opinions being aired.
These cards were launched by the diocese in time to be used during Lent, and the conversations amongst the congregation were really interesting. I've used them with a men's group where we focused a lot on the question, what would your question be to God?
The Everyday Questions have also provided useful conversation starters in local schools.
What is the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen? Well, for me it would be, I went to this forest once and it had some really nice trees and really nice flowers.
Who would you give your last sweet to and why? Probably my best friend Bailey because he likes sweets. What about you? Who would you give it to? I would give it to my best friend Hannah because she's very athletic and she usually runs out of energy. Okay.
So how could these questions help the families, congregations and communities that you work with?
I'm more and more convinced that for people who have very little previous engagement with the church, questions of life, questions to do with the world and questions of faith is a really good place to start.
I'm seeing it as increasingly important that as a family we have these everyday faith conversations, informing what we believe and who we are when we walk out of the door and head back to work or to school or just down to the shops.
The great thing about questions is that they open up possibilities for connections to everyday life and questions about real life.
In the parents video this week, we have suggested 3 of those questions to ask her.
If you could do one thing to help reverse climate change, what would you do?
If you were God for a day, what would you do?
Will we ever see an end to poverty? And if so, how? The fruit of the Spirit is what we'd be looking for if everyday faith was everywhere. We might simply need to remember to look for it in action.
The Archbishop of York Youth Trust uses their Young Leader Award to empower young people to change the world. Here's how they've been choosing to make a difference by putting kindness into action.
During this lockdown, I have been a maths tutor for my younger siblings and my younger cousins. Whenever they're doing their maths homework and they need a little bit of help or assistance, I go in and help them.
I came to school and found out that my friend had not done his homework, which was due in on that day. So I gave up my lunchtime and helped him with his work.
I showed my kindness because at lunch, someone I knew hadn't eaten the entire day and was very hungry, so I decided to buy her something to eat.
I've felt happiest when I've been baking with my family. I sent over a few recipes and photos of the cakes I baked to my school, and they sent them over to the NHS, and I got quite a few postcards and letters back.
I sang a song for my nan. I turned up with my speaker system and I sang the song to her because she loves it when I sing to her. Like the mountains in springtime. People started coming out, and then I sort of realised there's more to this. It's not just about me singing to my nan. It's about everyone coming together and enjoying themselves in lockdown.
We hope this episode of Faith at Home has provoked you to think about ways of connecting with the different homes you're in touch with.
You can download the 40 question cards from the Bath and Wells website. The link will be on the screen right now.
And that's all we've got time for this week.
So we'll leave you pondering and reflecting on how you can encourage everyday faith this week. The kind of faith that leads to proper kindness.